Propane is a hydrocarbon and is sometimes referred to as liquefied petroleum gas. Propane is produced from both natural gas processing and crude oil refining. Nearly 97% of propane used in the United States is produced in North America. It is non-toxic, colorless, and virtually odorless. As with natural gas, an identifying odor is added to it so the gas can be readily detected. About 90% of U.S. propane is domestically produced. The United States imports about 10% of the propane consumed each year, with about 70% of that coming from Canada via pipeline and rail. The remaining 30% of imported propane comes to the United States from other sources via ocean transport. Propane was first identified as a volatile component in gasoline by Walter O. Snelling of the U.S. Bureau of Mines in 1910. The United States uses more propane gas than any other country in the world. Propane supplies 1.6% of our total energy needs and ranks as the seventh most important energy source. Propane is formed when tiny sea plants and animals die and are buried on the ocean floor. Over time, they are covered by layers of sediment rock. Over millions of years, the remains were buried deeper and deeper. The heat and pressure turn them into oil and gas. Today, we drill down through the rock that contain the gas and oil. Then we can separate the petroleum, natural gas, and the propane for use. Propane is very easy to store in liquid form. As for transportation, usually propane first moves through underground pipelines to distribution terminals across the nation. Propane is primarily used for chemical and industry use, which uses 73%. The next use for propane is in homes. Major advantages with propane is that propane is a clean-burning, versatile fuel. It is also very convenient and easy to transport. Disadvantages to propane is how sensitive it is to temperature and how flammable it is. Propane is an approved clean alternative fuel listed in the 1990 Clean Air Act. Propane is a non-toxic fuel that doesn't contaminate aquifers or soil. It has been found that emissions from propane engines are 50 to 90% lower than gasoline engines. This makes propane a more efficient and environmentally friendly alternative for vehicles, lawnmowers, home appliances, and heating. On the other hand, it may be difficult to dispose of a propane tank. Garbage collectors and scrapyards will not accept propane tanks because the tanks are considered hazardous waste. Propane is flammable and the liquids may be left inside the tank even after it is no longer useful. Many certified propane companies will recycle the tanks so they do not end up in landfills. And some companies are proposing new ways to recycle small, single-use canisters. Overall, propane looks pretty good when it is compared to other fuel alternatives. It is a realistic way to power your car, and it is currently on the market, whereas many other options are not yet.